Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, don't get this confused with finger paints. Even More Watercolors is a 7% fruited sour from Skygazer Brewing Company in North Haven, Connecticut. Sometimes when I review a beer on this channel, it's not always just about that specific beer. Sometimes it's also about getting people familiar with a brewery that you may not have heard of or had a lot of exposure to. And if you haven't guessed by now, this is one of those reviews. Now, I'm not sure how big the distribution is for Skygazer. I don't know how big the facility is or how big the footprint is. And Connecticut beer really isn't my specialty here on the channel. But I do know that from the one Skygazer beer I've had in the past, it left a pretty good impression. Let's get into this one, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Vinnie Cat, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or just throw me a couple bucks to buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks that are available only to patrons. If you don't want to join in for the monetary thing, if you just share the video, that helps a lot too, or give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. So let's take a look at the label here. This can is very colorful. We have lots of stuff going on here. We're going to start at the top, and like a rainbow print, it says even more, and in a bit of a script, it says watercolors, apricot, mango, raspberry, and marshmallow. That's a lot of different flavors. We have the Skygazer logo, which is like a satellite dish, aiming up the heavens. We have the stars in the background. Lots of just kind of blobs of color. It's a really colorful label. Underneath that, it says a collaboration from Skygazer Brewing Company and Evil Twin, Connecticut. I didn't even know Evil Twin was doing something out of Connecticut, and I've had a few Evil Twin beers, so this is exciting to see. If we turn it around to the back to the spine, it says 7% alcohol by volume, 1 pint, 16 fluid ounces, sour ale with apricot, mango, raspberry, marshmallow, and milk sugar. So if you are lactose intolerant, you may want to avoid this beer. Underneath that, on the bottom here, it says brewed and packaged by 12% North Haven, Connecticut. You can find out more about Skygazer at skygazerbbrewingco.com. So 12% also had a hand in the Abomination beer that I talked about a few weeks back. This does not look to have an expiration date or a canned on date or any kind of date on this, but I did just pick this up a couple weeks ago in preparation for talking about this beer because I've had a Skygazer beer, like I mentioned, kind of teased about a little earlier. Super impressed with it, and we're going to talk about this one. Hopefully this is just as impressive. So let's go ahead and put a nose on the can here. See what we got. What we're working with on the nose. Can really smell the marshmallow. A lot of marshmallow coming out. I do smell lots of fruit. It smells very apricot-y. Has a little bit of a raspberry nose to it as well. Let's go ahead and pour it. And this is the part where I was impressed last time I tried this on my own. This pour is very peach colored coming out of the can, collecting in the glass. Looks really thick. Looks very kind of murky, hazy. The pour was a lighter kind of shade of this same color that we're seeing here now. Got to turn that logo up. If you see, we got about a finger of head here. It's a little bit off-white. It's shading a little bit towards that peach color. It's not brilliant white. It's still, I would say this is just kind of off-white. If we hold it up to the light here, that is thick. Like I'm barely seeing shadow of my fingers through it. It's going to look a little deceiving to you guys with all the lights. It looks a little bit lighter than it does to me with the front light shining on the front of this. It has a little bit more of a peach kind of color on the back end with the light filtering through it. It looks like a dark peach. I don't know what specific color you would call that, but let's put a nose on the glass here. Yeah, again, getting a lot of marshmallow, getting a lot of apricot, getting a lot of raspberry, lots of berry kind of aroma here. It smells very sweet. Again, marshmallow, marshmallow, marshmallow. That's a big aroma here, and the head has just really died off. It's just a really light kind of rim, basically, a rim of any kind of foam at all. So let's go ahead and try it out. Cheers. So we always talk about the mouthfeel first on this channel. The mouthfeel of this beer, just like the pour looked, is very, very thick. This is like, to me, if you've had Smooge before, that's a seltzer. That's a very thick mouthfeel. That's like probably one of the thickest mouthfeels of any kind of carbonated alcoholic beverage I've ever drank, and probably carbonated beverage just in general. This one is very close. It's not quite as thick. It's a little bit kind of similar to the 450 North beers, those really like slushy beers. It's thick like that. I feel like it's maybe just a hair thicker, a little bit more of a just a kind of mouth coating mouth feel. So let's go ahead and talk about the flavor. Very fruity, very again, that really thick mouthfeel really lends to the experience of drinking this. So I am getting the apricot, I am getting raspberry, I am definitely getting vanilla and marshmallow. I'm not picking, it said lactose or milk sugar, which is lactose. I'm not getting that kind of artificial sweetener lactose flavor that I get on a lot of beers that say they have lactose, or beers that have been sweetened with milk sugar. They give me like this bitter artificial sweetener kind of bitterness to it. I'm not picking up on this at all. On this beer, it is very sweet. So it's tough when you get into a beer like this because there's going to be people that are really for it because they want sweeter drinks, and there are going to be people that are totally against it, and because it goes against like the traditional styles of beer that they've tasted in the past. They might like those traditional style IPAs, or they might like a lager, or they might like something that's just a traditional beer flavor. This doesn't have a whole lot of that traditional beer flavor. You're getting a lot of that fruit flavor in there. It does have a bit of a fruit bitterness on the upfront that comes through like on the first intake, but it does get very sweet after that. It kind of starts out with that little kind of bitterness, and maybe that's where the lactose is kind of pushing through a little bit, but it doesn't taste artificial. It doesn't have an artificial bitterness to it. So I'm a little bit reluctant to attribute that to the lactose that's in this. But you're definitely getting the apricot. You're definitely getting like a mango almost. You're definitely getting a lot of berry, raspberry specifically. Let's see what else it says here on the, yeah. So you're definitely getting apricot, mango, raspberry, and the marshmallow really comes through. This is a solid sour, fruited sour. So let's get that out of the way. Sour, when I think of a sour ale, I think of something like a Jolly Pumpkin. I think of something like I don't know if it's the correct pronunciation, but like a goose, basically. I think of something like that. When I think of sour and fruited sour, it doesn't really, it has a little bit of a sourness to it. I guess that's what I'm getting on that upfront flavor, is a little bit of a sourness, but it is followed by so much sweetness. And fruited sours to me generally have just a little bit of sour and really push the sweetness. No different here. Um, I think fruited sour is almost code name for like sweet beer or sweet fruited beer. The thing with this that I feel like wraps the whole package up and that makes it really kind of pleasurable is that it has such that of a thick mouthfeel. It adds, like, you get the mouthfeel as if it is, very much real fruit. Like they used a crap ton of fruit in this beer, and you can tell because the mouthfeel is so thick. I'm sure again that the lactose kind of helps thicken up the beer a little bit. But you're getting all those fruit flavors, and you're getting a nice kind of mouthfeel, a thick package. It's a filling beer. I don't think you're going to sit and drink a 4-pack anytime soon, at least not on your own, unless you're just going to forego eating any kind of any kind of meal in any like relatively short amount of time within drinking this. But like I said, I've tried a Skygazer beer in the past. It was another one of the watercolors. I believe it was like a watercolor synergy. Really impressed by it. If you like fruited sours, if you like that kind of thick mouthfeel in the fruited sours, if you're a smooge fan and you're looking for something that's maybe a little bit stepping outside the box. I don't know how wide the distribution is for Skygazer, but I feel like Skygazer's fruited sours definitely would fit the bill if you're looking to branch out a little bit from something like a smooge or a 450 North slushy. All right, friends, that has been Even More Watercolors from Skygazer Brewing Company out of North Haven, Connecticut. Have you had this beer before? Have you had any beers from Skygazer in the past? Let me know in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's all for free for viewers just like you. And you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in North Haven, Connecticut. And most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Cheers.